I can give you 10 camels. I can give you 10 camels for your hand in marriage.
Angry penis, dog.
Yeah, I've been known to be angry a couple times.
I'm sleepy, guys. يلا باي.
Reporting like Shalom.
لا تروحي.
Hello?
وين لارا؟
Hey girl, you sound. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. You sound gorgeous. Hey girl, you sound gorgeous.
I sound gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I am gorgeous.
Tell me.
I am a goy.
Where did Bean go? Fuck.
Oh, it's Bean. Yeah, the other guy.
Altan.
Yo.
Altan يا خرا. أنا متها.
Oh, they're both Arab? Pretending not to be Arabi? Wow.
We didn't even pretend. You're the Hamara that never caught on.
Ooh.
With your stupid Indian accent.
That wasn't good accent. That was a pretty bad imitation.
Well, I'm out of here. This is a waste of time as usual.
Yeah.
I think we're at a tipping point moment right now in American history. Are we going to actually move towards a balanced budget in Washington, D.C.? If you listen to President Trump over the past few days, he said
organic, whole. And this is a mystery and a miracle. But according to the Zen masters, such is being performed every day. Satori can thus be had only through our once personally experiencing it. In the psychology of religion, this spiritual enhancement of one's whole life is called conversion. But as the term is generally used by Christian converts, it cannot be applied in its strict sense to the Buddhist experience, especially to that of the Zen followers. The term has too affective or emotional a shade to take the place of satori, which is above all noetic. The general tendency of Buddhism is, as we know, more intellectual than emotional, and its doctrine of enlightenment distinguishes it sharply from the Christian view of salvation.
Well, you believe in apostolic succession, and then
Zen, as one of the Mahayana schools, naturally shares a large amount of what we may call transcendental intellectualism, which does not issue in logical dualism. When poetically or figuratively expressed, satori is the opening of the mind flower, or the removing of the
Hi, beautiful. How's your day been? Thinking of you. Let's see. Prepping the coach house. prosecute. True clown queen. True clown queen. Hey, beautiful. How's your day been? Thinking you're gonna see kisses and prepping the kitchens for painting at the moment.
It's an absolute honor to stand here today, not just as mentors, but as witnesses to one of the most inspiring legal journeys we've ever seen. 6 years ago, Kim Kardashian walked into this program with nothing but a
Congressman Omar, anybody say?
Can I get your reaction?
Last night in Washington, something horrific happened.
Artist, this is Christian.
It's an absolute honor.
Fast lane drive, Chicago. Where's that?
All right, would you like to expound on it before I go to talk?
I would love to, and by the way, and again, no disrespect, I did not invite anybody here because I've just been here for like 3 minutes. But it looks like some peeps have come in. I'm assuming it's because of you, man. It's because me. I've been an atheist for the past 25 years. But that being said, and hang on a second, I always tell people if God is working for you, keep God in your life. Because I remember and I know that for the first 35 years of my life, God worked for me. But for the past 25, I've been an atheist. And once again, man, you hold amazing rooms. Thank you.
Nah, man, I appreciate you. Let me just welcome everybody. We got Quinn, we got Carbon, we got the man with the plan, Steve. We got God himself. God Divine is in the room. Comedian, Our Lee. We got Rohan. We got Laser. My existence, my savior, Laser. We got the Muslim. We got Jay. Y'all welcome to the room. Welcome. So I was just in the room, and then you'd have people arguing on the stance of not believing in God, and then I understand that there's believers in God, there's not believers in God. Which side do we choose? Which side do we tell our children to choose? Which side are you on, and which side do we go for in life, saying, well, children, be a believer in God, or children be a non-believer in God? Where we at with this? So next, let me get God Divine. You were next. Carver, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I didn't know we were talking about the children too. So for me, like knowing what I know now, I wouldn't force believing on God on my children, but still like raising your children up in certain spiritual environments can help out in the long run. So if they were wanting to have that connection with the source, they can. But I'm not going to force it to say we got to go to church, or I'm gonna drag them and force them to read the Bible. But me being that example, I feel like is where it starts.
Put me
All
in the
right,
queue.
let's get God. I'm gonna come to your next comedian after God Divine. What we got, God Divine?
I think as early as they can comprehend it, that you tell them as much of the truth as you see it. So for me, I point out what I see my son will see. He'll see religious people claiming to have the truth in their book and their building, and then they'll say that the other people are wrong. So I want him to be able to look at it from a perspective, not that he's stuck in one book or in one building, but he can see, oh, that's interesting. They all seem to be saying a similar thing, but they want to have the monopoly or the, we're the chosen people or whatever kind of title they want to give to exalt themselves above other believers, not even non-believers. They want to be better than you're believing in the wrong thing, even though there's supposed to be one thing. Because once he sees that, then he won't need to keep on coming to me and asking me questions. He'll always have the ability to discern for himself. I will always be here to answer questions for him, but I would rather him be able to tell me what he's learned, and then we can discuss that versus him need me to affirm something for him.
Right, excellent point. I do have another question, but I'm away. Comedian, how we doing, Mike? This is what we got now.
Yeah, I'm good. Basically, I just wanted to say that I don't want to mention anybody specifically in the room. Uncle Steve taught me that. But what I'm trying to get across is large language models and books. You may say you're an atheist, but that's very lazy because you're essentially refuting countless books related to many religions which have a lot of information about psychology and psyche. And so when Carbon said it's good to raise a child up in a spiritual fashion, what you're talking about is psychology and anger management, emotional management, maturity, intellect, maturation, self-development, personal development. So you can use these books and still call yourself an atheist because the books, if you read Preacher, Ecclesiastes, Vanity of Vanities, there's a lot to be learned there about about human brain science, about your condition in life, how to improve your life. So I think it's ridiculous to just say, I'm an atheist, but not discuss the books. I mean, I like the book club. That, to me, if I was to join a religious organization, it better have a book club, is what I'm saying.
Shama, can I have a 60-second response, please, or should I wait?
Go ahead, the man with the plan. You got it.
All right, thank you very much. It won't take me longer than 60 seconds. I know that a lot of people, not to name names, I practice what I preach, think atheists are lazy. However, in my humble opinion, it is more lazy to call 500 million, and there are over 500 million atheists around the planet, to call them lazy. I think a lot of atheists, not all, have read books, have looked at all the evidence and literature on both sides, and hopefully made a comprehensive decision that the evidence on the side against God is more compelling, more believable, more substantial than the evidence on the other side of the coin. Thank you, Shama.
Thank you, my existence. So we're gonna get existence in the name of our lead. What we got, our lead? What's your thoughts?
Good evening, everybody. What I would say to the topic of the room tonight, if a person is looking for peace and tranquility within himself as well as his surrounding, and he's looking for a solution to his life problems, he's going to have to discover the truth, or what I call, discover God. And once he discovers God, he will automatically, naturally believe in God. And as far as the side thing about children, I think it's very important that a person first solve this problem properly, consciously first, and figure out the answer to this question before passing it down to the children.
I appreciate it. Did you want to address that, Steve? I see you put the thumbs down there and comedian.
I'll even be quicker this time. I'll be 30 seconds. I don't think you absolutely black and white, no gray, have to discover God to have a better life. And one classic example would be the people that, in the name of God, hijacked an airliner, flew it into the Twin Towers, and killed thousands of people. But that's just one example. Thank you.
can I go next, Shama? Put me in the queue.
Did you? So comedian, let him respond right back to Stephen. Then comedian, you can address what he said. All right. Go ahead, Ali. You can address for everyone.
Well, they say that when a person does not have a logical point, then they get two personalities. So that basically everybody can see how smart the brother Steve is.
Okay, so
All right, you got it.
yeah, so basically, the thing about an atheist, like Steve said, there's 500 million atheists on the planet. They've read all the books, and they've all come to the conclusion that the sky god or the king god or the godfather is not real. Now, okay, great, but there's still a metaphysic or an energy, essentially, which is what you are and what the universe is. So there's more to just atheism or atheism. There's a physics. There's physics behind all of this. It's energy. And so in terms of this app and really your whole life, it comes down to the sound, meaning what kind of sound are you emitting? Are you complaining all the time? Are you criticizing all the time? Are you playing music? Are you creating peace? And so to me, that's really the fruits or the products of a religious education is you realize I'm not trying to create disharmony in my life by emitting uncomfortable sounds or tell lies or try to lead people down rocky roads so I can get as much money out of them as possible. I'm trying to essentially communicate intelligence, clarity, transparency, truth. And maybe it hasn't always come off that way in my life, but to me that's the truth about God is it's not war and conflict. It's peace and harmony. It's joy now, which is the message of God. And so people who want to take you from that path, they may not understand the message or they are still perfecting and working on their communication.
Great. Hey, that was some powerful points, especially using the term energy and what sound you are emitting or giving off. And so, as I listen, right, to the sound, the voice of atheists and theists, right, or atheists, if you are a theist, right, when I listen to you guys give off the sound of controversy about God. So the frequency of controversy always comes when it comes to believing in God or not believing God on both sides. So that's a sound that is given off from both sides. My question is this: dealing with the children which are pure, which doesn't, like, my child doesn't take a stance on being a believer or a non-believer because I don't open the door for her to choose anything like that. However, when it comes to children, right, which one is trustworthy, or which one is the quality of people that are trustworthy that you should let children cling to and be an example of how to live in purity? Would it be believers in God, or would it be those who do not believe in God, non-believers?
You mean like the Catholic Church?
Hey, you let me know. I'm just asking. I'm throwing it out there.
It can be both.
The reason I say that is because the vibe was kind of like, would you want your children around good Christian God, good people, or the evil, bad atheists? Who knows what they'll do? Maybe that's not the tone that you meant, but that's the undertones that I heard. So that's why
forgive it.
Because you never know. Usually the more people, the more power the person gets, no matter what industry they're in. That's where the corruption comes.
But the God.
Yeah, even real quick, comedian, I'm gonna say this. No, I told you my daughter doesn't. I wouldn't tell her to follow believers in God, or I would tell her don't associate with any of it because it's all the energy of controversy. At the end of the day, I'm asking the people in the room. Well, when it comes to the children of the earth, what do you say? Oh, are believers in God more trustworthy than non-believers, or are non-believers in God more trustworthy than believers? What's your stance on that?
I would love to answer that question, and once again, your Uncle Steve will do it within 60 seconds. When it comes to trustworthiness, who do I trust? I don't give a shit, pardon, I hope I didn't offend anybody, what your religion is, what your sex is, what your disability or sexual orientation is. What I care about as is you as an individual? Are you honest? Are you consistent? Can I count on you? Which all equals whether or not you're trustworthy. It's the individual, not the group. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that the Bible can be used for programming, and so you may meet people who are atheists that took the programming, and they're no longer theists because they've moved past it, because the programming is not needed anymore. So you just have to essentially view books as, on shelf storage programs that you can run that script through your mind and incorporate that into your psyche. And so your children actually need a contrast. They need the theist and they need the atheist, just like how black and white go together. It's the pairing of opposites. Without the contrast, there's no differentiation. And you have to have differentiation to find a silver lining, which is always going to be the truth. Meaning it's not too much of this and not too much of that. There is an equilibrium here at play. And if you are all or nothing on one position, unfortunately, I don't think you got the message, because the message is center mass and equilibrium at all times. That's the secret of the mysticism, which is essentially harmony now, which is this is the Garden of Eden, but you have been fooled by words to be taken out of the paradise. And so that's my opinion.
I will take a little bit different view because I think the job of the father is not to, after a child reaches a certain age, is not to give answer, but to help the child discover the answer himself or herself. Because the father is guiding the children, helping them discover the answer, whether to believe in the people who are believe in God or don't believe in God. I think the job of the father is to guide, is to help the child discover the answer for themselves. Why? Because in that process, the child goes through a lot of learning. And that learning is very important for a child to be able to discover for himself or herself. Because once they discover for themselves, they know why they believe, or why they believe one side is right or the other side is right or both sides are not right. That's I think that's the way the father should lead the children.
Shama, is it okay if I ask Allah a question if he's okay with it?
Of course, my existence. Go ahead.
Shama, I'm sorry. Allah, can I ask you? Is it Al-Wa? Can I ask you a question?
Please go ahead.
So, you think that it's the job of the father to educate the children to believe what they think, even if it might be against what the Bible says. Is that correct, or am I mistaken?
Please repeat the question one more time.
Do you think the father should tell the children, if you don't believe certain parts of the Bible, that's okay?
I think, Brother Steve, you didn't listen to what I said.
Which is why I'm asking the question.
If you would listen,
I will.
If you would listen, Brother Steve, you will not have to ask the question. What I said was, the father doesn't have to tell the child one thing or the other, whether to believe in part of the Bible or not. The job of the father is to guide the child to study and discover it, both the scientific route and the theological route, and discover the answer for himself.
So, if I could just ask one logical follow-up question, and I know you said that if I listen, I shouldn't have to ask any questions, which, by the way, I completely disagree with, but that's another story. So, are you saying that if the child studies the Bible and determines that a lot of the Bible is completely not true, that's okay? Do you agree with that?
If that's what the child determines, absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it. So did anybody have raise their hand or something? Because I did have another question here. All right. Anywho, so let's put yourselves in the shoes of children, or your feet in a child's shoes. If you were a child, right? Would it be in your mind to actually choose either side? Like, if you were a child, do children even focus on things like that? So if you put yourself back in the shoes of a child, right? Would a child be like, "Oh, I'm a believer in God. I'm a non-believer," or this is completely out of their minds?
It's the communication. It's the communication that the child ingests. When I was a child, my father had a box of books and a cabinet in the basement. That was my primary source, other than high school and the library, etc. But those were the books I had at home. I mean, there's a saying, show me the books you have at home, and you'll see the person in front of you. I mean, in many ways, we are what we've read and what we communicate. I mean, it goes, if somebody can quote things or know things, I mean, this is the basis of education and knowledge. It's words, and books are where they're at.
So let me get this back, comedian, real quick. So comedian, you
bring that out, brother. Bring it out.
Yeah. So as a child, right? You ran into books. What you mean? What kind of books? So just so I know where you.
My dad was like big into this church on the radio called the Intercontinental Church of God by Garner Ted Armstrong and Herbert Armstrong. And when I got to college, they had a book in the library called The Kingdom of Christian Cults. And it was a big Christian church in Pasadena. They had a big building and all this stuff, all this money. But they're like Seventh-day Adventists or Jews for Jesus, essentially, because my dad is a Jew. So for him, I think the fact that they keep all the Jewish laws and traditions is like appealing for him, in the sense that he can work his, identity with a Christian organization within the United States. Because there's in groups and out groups within all these religious organizations. I've been to synagogues where converts have to sit in the convert section of the synagogue. And to me, that doesn't seem good, that we don't need to categorize or silo people who are there for education. It's all education and publishing, and that's all it is. And all the speakers on this app, all the communication spammers, and all the communication hypnotists, they're not running classrooms, and nobody on this app is reading books. It's all fucking spam, and it's all projection almost all the time, and it's always spam, but many times it's hypnosis. If that's it. Those are my opinions.
Now I got you. So now hear carefully what I'm saying, y'all. Put yourself in a child's position. I understand the influencing of books out there, but I remember being a child, and I did not care about being either or. Like I didn't, even though I knew that my mom then was a believer or whatever. I was not into that. I mean, I don't care about being a believer in God or not that. In my mind, I'm ready to climb trees. I'm ready to go play hide and go seek. I'm ready to do a whole bunch of things. But I don't care about picking a side. So if you put yourself back in a child's position, or if you go back to when you were a child, I would say, were you arguing about either side at that point? That's what I'm asking. So who's next?
Well, it depends on when they put that fear of God in you. That's the whole idea.
But that would be
some parents want to do it earlier, and some parents want to do it later. So it really depends on what age the parent thinks that's a healthy. Because remember, you have to make the person think that in most religions that there's something wrong with them, that there's that they're fallen, or they're in a fallen state, or they contain sin that they can't control, and there's a good place and a bad place. So for the younger that you put that into somebody, you could argue that that's better. But honestly, you're not using love to entice them. You're using fear to make them do the thing. It's more of a fear-based incentive.
But guys, real quick, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say this real quick, beloved. That's what I'm saying. Put yourself back in the position. I understand. There's different narrative how children grow. I'm talking about you. So when you put yourself back when you go back to when you was 7 and stuff like that, did you be like, yo, I'm going to defend being a believer in God, or I'm going to defend being a non-believer in God. Where you doing it? Because I remember I wasn't doing nothing like that. That's me. But I'm saying where you was at.
Maga's slick ass. This is politically incorrect.
That's what it was. We weren't having any.
Which is that fat bastard from Florida.
Rick Ross.
Yeah, the CEO from Florida.
Ricky Rose?
No, the CEO from Florida. I don't know that nigga real name. I just call him CEO from Florida. And that pretty much ended that whole thing. 50 Cent fuck. I don't recommend that.
Why not, Scotty?
I'm just gonna.
Is this the men's room now? What's going on? Where's everybody?
We've been waiting for you to chime in, Miss Lisa.
Lisa, we're talking about fashion. You came in at the.
What up, people?
I'm just trying to take this cast off.
You know what it is.
What up, H?
Hey,
What it
are
do?
you
What it do?
okay?
What up,
Are
man?
you okay? Hey,
This guy wants to call into the
Yeah,
show.
you all right, H? You
Yeah, I'm alright.
somebody over for a wellness check?
I'm a warrior, yo. It's all good. It's only one. We only one down. It's all good.
I'm actually.
Yeah,
I was
I was
actually.
worried that you might have got stage 9 too.
I was actually mad about it, Haitian. I was mad. I was mad about it.
Like, I was fucking beyond mad last night. It was so good though.
I moved
What
my
happened
car.
last night? What
I
happened?
moved my car so I didn't get bent.
Yo, you don't want to talk about it,
I
Jim.
watched the highlights.
Oh, they talking about
It was bad.
the neck.
Yeah.
Y'all lost your legs. Yeah, the highlights were
Yeah.
horrible.
Yep. So, hey, at least I called you earlier. Next time, pick up your damn phone. Yeah. Read what I put in Telegram.
Okay.
But Lisa, right before you came on, what we were talking about, I was telling them that I had picked up 5 acres of light industrial zone land out here. Now I was telling them what I did was I had 2 friends wrap it up twice right before I made my bid intentionally. So it was on the market for. I did.
Committed fraud. He committed fraud.
Then I lowballed the shit out of them and it worked.
I had a friend who did that too. That's so cool.
I don't think I'm inventing the wheel, but it worked.
Wait, so what did they do? What did they do, Gemini? They offer a bid. They don't go into escrow, so they pull out before.
They pull out before escrow. They do all the due diligence. They do the contract. They do everything. But keep the agent wrapped up. Keep the property off the market.
You're not gonna do that to me over here. That's for damn sure.
No, I'm on the West Coast, so you're safe.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying we keep an eye on that shit. But you can scam people.
That's not really a scam. I bought it.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I'm saying like we got a lot of people who do shady shit out here, but we kind of know if you've been around for a long time, you kind of know right off the jump not to fall for it.
Well, I don't want to take all the credit. I have a friend. She's cool as fuck. She's a real estate agent. She's the one suggested that I do it that way. She said it's been sitting. Let it sit a little bit more. Let them get a couple offers and see how low they're willing to go. So we were actually testing them on what they accepted. They accepted the first offer they accepted from my friend was lower than asking, and the second one was even lower. So I knew where to come in at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not a scam as much as a stress test.
No, I get.
Now I'm sounding like Trump stress test.
No, but do you just for that? Like, do you have to show when somebody does that? Do they have to show proof of funds?
Oh yeah. My friends have money, so they proofed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're capable. They just were doing it on my behalf. But no, I'm not dealing with brokies.
They proofed up and they ain't brokies.
Literally, she suggested that to me. She was like, "Let's find out where their head's at. We can come in twice and see what they're willing to accept. So when I guarantee you, when you make your offer, they're gonna go for it. She was right. Women are more cunning than us. I'm telling y'all.
He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Mama Jazzy's discounted Q's cash flows into the future. Did you see that, Ro? I'm trying to click on it, but I can't get it. Oh shit, that's a funny title.
Hey, Shaiki, bro.
Did it? Oh, here we go.
My mother's grandmother's mother or grandmother's grandmother, one of them.
When is it that you think that your family stopped being ethnically Jewish? Which
We
generation?
were never. She converted.
Whoa. Who converted?
The Jew.
Your great-great-grandmother converted?
Yeah, to marry my great-great-great-grandfather from my mother's side.
And he was Christian?
Yeah, of course. We don't marry non-Christians.
So then she was ethnically Jewish. So now you have Jewish cousins that you don't visit?
Yes, because they go by the mama. I don't go by the mama. I go by the
Doc, you got 2 accounts now?
Did she have siblings that had kids? So you now you have Jewish cousins all over Clubhouse, and you don't even know who you're related to? I just wanted to help you.
That's why I was talking to Nair. You know, maybe Nair is my relative. Like, that's the thing. I don't know.
Why do you share the same last name?
He admits it. I don't even know her last name. I have to check the family tree. I don't even have it.
Yeah, I thought.
This is such great news. Just by absorption, you know, you create the name Rabbi, you become a member of the tribe. You know, Kick me. He's a member.
But what's your favorite place to vacation outside the country, though? What's the best spot?
I haven't been there. I haven't.
I think Rabbi kicked me.
Hold on.
Wait, no, let's make sure we understand.
What's up with y'all?
Well, why don't you just agree? Just go, yeah, that's true, JCC.
No, it's not true. I'm about to tell you why.
It's not true.
Why it's not true, bro?
Did Muhammad
be quiet.
Did Muhammad talk to God?
5 seconds. Man,
Did Muhammad talk to God?
Did Muhammad talk to
God? Did Muhammad talk to God?
It's just so funny.
No, he didn't. No, he talked to an angel, and then the angel talked to
So
him.
when I say what I'm going to say, are you saying
God told an angel what to tell Muhammad.
I'm trying to understand.
So in none of this chain of events over the timeline of the Muslim fucking bullshit story that I'm delineating through, does Muhammad actually talk to God directly? We know this, but he just won't concede.
If he did, you wouldn't believe it anyway, right? So why don't you
just tell us when he did?
Listen, if I said he did, you wouldn't believe it anyway.
Why don't you just tell us when?
I don't understand why you keep asking that question.
Well, you don't believe that Paul saw Jesus after he resurrected? You don't believe that Paul saw Jesus after he resurrected?
You wouldn't believe it anyway. So why do you keep on
Dude, you're just a typical dumb fucking Muslim, dude. Shut the hell up.
You don't believe anyway.
He's a Muslim.
Yeah, Muslims are stupid, dude.
Hey, I ain't gonna let y'all jump my brother like that. Fuck y'all. Y'all don't believe in God, so why y'all even use the scripture like y'all know it?
You know the scripture is better than believers do. That's the problem. If you actually read it and thought about the shit that you claim to believe in, you would believe it, but you don't. But instead, you just pretend and then lie about it.
We can't even have the conversation to see if it's true or not. If it's false, then you'll be able to point it out, smart men. College grads, right?
Wait, are you a Muslim?
Why are you tripping so much?
Wait, do you know what the Quran says? You're evidence that it's full of shit. Amir, you are evidence. Amir, you are the evidence.
You're just running your mouth, man.
No, you're just running your mouth. That's why it's evidence that the Quran is full of shit. If the Quran were actually true, you'd speak better on it. You'd actually say more things that make sense. But instead, you're being like Rocco. You're being like Rocco.
And somehow you just got here. But no one
you're just a
put you no one
fucking
placed you
loudmouth
here.
fucking
No one is
dope.
taking care of you, huh?
You got to be the most unintelligent dude.
No, I'm more intelligent than you are, dude.
Taking care of you when things have been on Earth before you.
Yeah, you just sound like a loudmouth Muslim.
And it benefits you. You stupid one.
I can live with myself. I'm sorry about
the Pledge of Allegiance.
Amir, Amir, what are you gonna? Fuck God and the Pledge of Allegiance. What were you gonna ask me, Amir?
Oh, so you're not an American?
I just wanted to ask JC one thing. If I tell you, JC, to write this, right, on paper,
yeah,
who's the author? You or me?
Romero, this guy's just a numbnut.
You are the author. I'm the dictator.
Okay, so if me saying that the angel came to the Prophet Muhammad with the word of God, what makes you say that's not the word of God? That is the word of the angel.
Muslim who doesn't want to be
because
legitimate.
Because it comes from an angel. Well, first and foremost,
hey, honey, probably be the platform where you be able to say whatever you want to say to people, right?
Yeah.
Because I know you wouldn't say it in real life, right?
No, I
know you was having a your life to speak to men the way you speak to men on this platform, right? I'm not even talking to you.
Are you threatening me?
I know that you having the time of your life to disrespect people while you're on the platform.
Yeah, I don't know why you would
I get it.
threat.
It's always you atheist dudes that always got this anger inside you. You can't have and you want to insult.
Hey,
you want to insult. But I would never find you in
atheist.
real life insulting anybody.
See how it is? This guy's threatening me with physical.
No, you're the one coming insulting. You're talking to JC, and you're jumping in, saying things on the sideline.
You just sound stupid.
They've been jumping me since earlier.
Just punch you in your mouth, man. You like to interject when people are being dumb and dishonest.
Assalamualaikum, brother.
So what did you achieve with all that, Amir?
Not a goddamn thing.
He's claiming that Muhammad spoke directly to Allah, but there's nowhere that he can verify.
I never said that.
Okay, so will you concede that Muhammad never spoke with Allah?
But now you're lying.
Yeah, see? Now he won't just fucking concede. JCC made a good point. He won't just concede.
Amir, did God communicate with Muhammad vocally? Did God vocally speak to Muhammad?
They had a physical relationship, basically.
Is your name Amir?
Fuck that. You been jumping niggas all day. We jumping your ass. Fuck that. Let them speak.
Wow, I feel so jumped.
Yeah. Let them speak.
Fuck these atheists, man. We gotta get them, guys.
I like
we all believe in God, right?
It's 3-on-3. It's 3-on-3.
We can have a conversation, bro. We can have a conversation, bro.
So Amir, I'll ask my question again. Did God verbally communicate with sounds with Muhammad? Did he talk to Muhammad vocally?
No, man, he did. He didn't do that. Why? Why you pressuring me, man?
The silence speaks volume.
No, I never said that. I never said that. You hear me?
Why don't you fucking answer his question then, dumb fuck?
So
I never said that. You got this honey dude. His name is Honey. He probably a sweet dude.
Yeah, I'm so sweet.
Amir.
I never said that. I said what I said. And now you guys are taking what I said and you're making something else out of it.
I'm attracted
to Amir, if I said that like you really...
Do y'all want to have a conversation? Or
yeah, you're going to answer a fucking question?
No, we got to get the meta, but I guess what I would want to ask is like, if I try to convince you of something, I said, an angel told me the other day, blah, 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 is true. Would you believe me because I said an angel told me?
No.
So, why do you believe?
That's the reason why we're having a conversation, because I was hoping that you guys ask the questions, why do you believe it's true? Or why is this? You get little things and then you guys just run off with it, bro, and you just don't have a conversation. So it's just like
hold your feet to the fire, numbnuts.
Amir, can I ask you a question? Do angels have vocal cords?
They speak.
Yes, they sing.
They speak. Like
they sing. Like Lucifer, the guy you believe in, Lucifer. He was the best singer. Yeah, they definitely sing.
So Amir, you're saying that an angel spoke to Muhammad, and Muhammad just took dictation?
The angel came to the Prophet Muhammad Muhammad Sallallahu with the words of the Creator.
And he spoke vocally.
And he recited, bro, it's like you got it all figured out, I guess. Because I can't even tell you.
He's asking you questions.
You're telling me before I even end the sentence, you're telling me.
He's asked you a question.
No, he's not asking me anything. You know, I don't know the difference between somebody asking me something.
I heard
if you're going to ask me for something, you asking to hear the answer, then you respond. But he's coming in while I'm answering him and telling me what the answer is.
I heard him ask, so did the angel use a vocal language?
So he spoke to him in the manner that he spoke to him in. There's no details on if the angel has a voice.
Okay, so just say you don't know.
All that kind of stuff.
How
I'm not
does
going to
angel?
sleep on it.
Yeah, so Amir, so you don't know, right?
How would an angel?
I only know what we only can speak of the things that we have knowledge of, right?
Right.
So everything we won't have knowledge of, right? But certain things we will have knowledge
So
of.
you don't know if an angel can speak or not, but you just believe it, right?
No, I did not say that.
I'm asking you a question.
You're going into the whole thing. Do they have vocal cords?
I didn't say you. I
don't know how in the matter you spoke to him.
I didn't say you said it. I asked you a question, right? So you don't know if an angel speaks. You just believe it, right?
Yes, it's based upon belief and knowledge. Gotcha. Knowledge and belief.
Gotcha.
Okay. With that said, does that mean that Muhammad was just God's secretary?
He was his messenger.
Well, actually, that would make Muhammad the angel's secretary, because it's the angel that's brought the message.
Okay, so Muhammad's not even middle.
The message is the message is God's words, right? Through the prophet, to the angel, to the prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So through the angel to the prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Because I'm already a Muslim, so I'm gonna tell you what happened. Angels came to Muhammad, and angels told, "Hey, Muhammad, you're gonna marry Aisha," and he said, "Okay."
She was 9.
Yeah.
And everyone was cool with it.
She was 9.
Okay, the Muslims.
Now we're gonna have a conversation based upon the revelation, or you guys
just
want to
focus
go
on
into
how
some
God
emotional
talks to people,
or some type of moral argument or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
we haven't figured out what you're talking about.
It's moral and all that kind of stuff because you atheists don't have a moral compass.
Yeah, don't say
Amir.
Everything is subjective anyway, so you can't say it's moral or not anyway.
Amir, you spoke out of ignorance. Non-believers have morals. Morals.
Where you get it from? Where you get it from?
Shut up.
From people.
Shut up. From experience, right?
We get it from people.